We're gonna bring in Wade. And before we get to Wade, I just want to again point out I said that you are a genius, and I'm on record for saying that too. Now I'm saying it to you. I don't know if I've ever told you that, but I've certainly told other people that my dad is a mad scientist. I've told people that my dad is a genius. I've watched how you have moved and the decisions. I've watched very closely how you make decisions. And there's no secret that we've got Hal Chernoff and Coach Barry Hunter right there, 2 Hall of Fame coaches, and yourself being a Hall of Fame coach. I never looked at it that way. I just looked at it as Coach Barry. We know him for a long time. We know what he can do. We've seen what he's done with other fighters. Thanks for bringing him on. Like, you know, it's a great mind. And then with Coach Hal, we got some secrets I want to let out today, Coach Hal. But Coach Hal, all right, cool. We need to move on. We need to get a good cut man, somebody that can wrap hands. And we've known Coach Hal for a long time. He's family. Perfect. And it took me getting inducted into this Hall of Fame for me to actually look at the pieces to these puzzles that you put together. And something that Coach Hal had revealed to us the other day, you never even watched the fights. You were watching what my head looked like, what my eyes looked like, if there was any blood, anything like that. And you've never enjoyed a Shawn Porter boxing match because you had a job to do.
No, when I'd go home, people would say, man, you're sitting there with your hand on the ring. You got the best seat in the house. I says, I don't watch the fight. Yeah. I got a job to do. And I got stress on me. The truth is, I felt like I was capable of you losing or winning if I didn't do my job right. And that's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
And
you made him win.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Made him win.
That's for sure.
Stop swelling, stop cuts, cool you down. I remember when we fought you guys, and Kenny says, he's the only guy that brings a blanket to cover the guy in the corner because we were outdoors, remember?
Yeah.
You guys sat down. It was pretty chilly that night.
Yeah.
And you were getting covered up. See, I always tried to think of everything we could possibly need. I couldn't think about enjoying watching the fight.
Yeah. Was that my dad's idea to bring the blanket, or was that something that you had came up with?
No, that was me.
That was you?
He brought the blanket and we started I'm like, get some, get this, do that. Next thing I know, he pulling out clips.
Yeah.
I think he was clipping.
I clipped 2 blankets together.
He was clipping on his car, and he actually clipped the blankets onto you.
Oh, wow.
That's why you're here.
Yeah. And then, of course, Coach Barry Hunter, the first time I'd ever been in the ring with somebody that had a piece of paper with notes written on them. And I'll never forget, man, we brought you in for the Danny Garcia fight, and you got in the ring and pulled your paper out. And I was like, what? Wait a minute. And you was like, and you went through the list and you said, this is what we got to do. Boom, 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 boom. And we'll win. And got you. And that's how it worked out. So again, just you being a genius and having the ability to look far enough ahead to see what needed to be done before we got there. And then the other piece to the puzzle right there is Coach Larry Wade. I'm gonna talk real quick. Tell the story about how you got on, and just tell Marco to hold on 1 second. Go ahead. Just tell the story how you got on.
Well, I was actually in the point of training a professional basketball player, and he wasn't showing up for training. So I came to Vegas to see my wife at UNLV, and I see you and your father at the track. At this time, I don't know who Shawn Porter is or who Kenny Porter is, but Shawn looks like a running back, some type of football player, and Dad just looks like a very intimidating guy that you don't want to mess with. But I see that he's coaching, so I just assumed he's just his coach. And I go and introduce myself to Kenny Porter, and like Barry said earlier, very quiet guy, is not really talking much. And Kenny looked at me, and he was like, shook my hand, but he didn't have a lot to really say to me. But I stood there and was hoping I could encourage a little bit more conversation, and then comes to find out that he's training you. Mm-hmm. And I asked Kenny, I said, so what position does he play? He said, oh, he don't play football. So he's not a football player, not a running back? He said, no, he's a professional boxer. I'm like, oh, he's a boxer? Like, yeah, he's a boxer. He said, he used to play football, get about 1,000 yards a season. And I was like, oh, well, he definitely looks like one. And so,
that's what you said.
Yeah, and I gave him my card thinking I would never see or talk to either one of you again, because I was living in LA at the time.
Yeah.
And so just so happened I was in Vegas, and he called me about, I want to say like 2 weeks later, late at night, and like 11:30. and asked me if I was available to do a workout. And I was like, absolutely. Next day, I met you guys at UNLV at the track. He told me to give you a hard one because you need to get in shape. And I gave you a real hard one. And when it was all said and done, I just knew it was over for me again. I was like, well, I know after this workout, I'm never getting a phone call ever again. Then he asked me, he said, hey, how would you like to be part of a camp? Yeah. And I was like, what's a camp? Yeah. And he went through, he was kind enough to not laugh in my face and say, well, explain it to me what it was. A period of time, it could be 2 months, even more to get ready for a fight. And we want to bring you on. And I was like, well, I never worked with a boxer before, so I don't want to take a chance on ruin his opportunity. He said, you won't ruin anything because that's what I want you to do. You can be in charge of the conditioning.
GPS signal lost.
That me? That ain't me.
No, not me.
Go ahead.
He said, you can be in charge of conditioning, but come to the gym every day.
Yeah.
You're going to do it for free, and I want you just to listen and learn. Yeah. And when he said it, I swear it was like I got a Christmas gift to me because I was like, damn, I'm going to go to a boxing gym. Yeah. I'll get to watch it. And when I got there, though, and this is a testament to some of the things you said earlier, when I got there, I'm expecting to see a fight like you see on TV. He got you wrapped up and you're standing in front of this mirror just walking, throwing punches, and he makes me get out there and try to show me how to do it. And I swear after about 3 to 5 minutes, I was hurting. So I was definitely like, how is he doing this? And why is he doing this? This is when I found out how important, footwork and basic fundamentals, how important that was, because before every session, you had to work on that first. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that I learned that because I think so many people watch YouTube and Instagram and think that the myths that they see is what real fundamentals is, and it's not. Yeah. Real fundamentals is not always easy. A lot of times it's boring, but it's very necessary. So I'm grateful that I had a chance to learn in that direction.
Yeah.